Hey guys, for this guide, I'll be talking about Imbibitor Lunae Eidolons, how to build its best relic Lightcone, Teamcomp, and rotation. First for Imbibitor Lunae, base stats at level 80, 698 attack, 363 defense, 1241 HP, he has 102 speed, 140 energy, 5% crit rate, 50% crit damage, and 135 taunt value. Now for his skill set, all his kit will do imaginary damage. I'll skip saying that part and say damage instead to keep it short. Imbibitor Lunae basic attack is his main damage skill. At level 6, his normal basic attack will do 100% of his attack to a single enemy. And now for the complicated part of his kit. When Imbibitor Lunae charges his skill, on the first charge is a single target damage ability. He unleashes 3 hits, dealing damage equal to 260% of his attack to a single enemy. On the second charge, he unleashes a 5 hit attack, dealing damage equals to 380% of his attack to a single enemy. From the 4th hit onward, simultaneously deal damage equal to 60% to adjacent enemies. On the third charge, he unleashes a 7 hit attack, dealing damage equal to 500% of his attack to a single enemy. From the 4th hit onward, simultaneously deal damage equal to 180% of his attack to adjacent targets. And now, for his skill at level 10, it basically gives him a 12% crit damage buff up to 4 stacks. Imbibitor Lunae ultimate at level 10 basically unleashes a 3-hit attack, dealing 300% damage of his attack to a single enemy and 140% damage to adjacent targets, and obtain 2 personal skill points. A max of 3 personal skill points can be processed at any given time for Imbibitor Lunae. Imbibitor Lunae talent at level 10 gains 1 stack of Righteous Heart. After each hit unleashed during an attack, Righteous Heart increases his damage by 10% up to 6 stacks, which will last until the end of the turn. Basically a max damage buff for his third charge attack. For his traces bonuses, at the start of the battle, he immediately regenerates 50 energy. His second trace bonus increases the chance to resist crowd control debuff by 35%. And his third trace increases his crit rate by 24% when dealing damage to enemies with imaginary weakness. And now his technique allows him to enter a dragon state for 20 seconds. It causes him to move rapidly forward and blocks all incoming attacks. When he attacks an enemy in this state, he deals 120% of his attack to all enemies and gains 1 stack of his personal skill point. For Imbibitor Lunae tracers require Ascension trace materials and bonus tracers. I will just leave pictures down below as I do not want to drag the video. Now, are his Eidolons worth it? For his Eidolons, breakthrough are E2, E4, and E6. If you're free to play, E0 is perfectly fine. Imbibitor Lunae is just on so much damage, you don't really need his Eidolon or Lightcone at all. Though the best value for price to performance ratio is his E2. After that, it kind of scales down. Though I would just get his signature Lightcone with E0 instead if you're planning to use 4 of Aeon for another destruction unit for Jingliu, for example, in the future, as Imbibitor Lunae is already the best DPS for now, especially if you know how to play him with the right rotations and Teamcomp. For Imbibitor Lunae, E1 increases the numbers of Righteous stacks by 4, and 1 extra stack of Righteous Heart will be gained for each attack per hit. This gives him 40% extra damage. For his E2, after using his ultimate, his action is advanced forward by 100% and gives 1 extra stack of his personal skill point. For E3, basic attack and skill level cap increased. Basic attack at no charges deals 100% to 130% damage. Second charge skill from 380% to 494%. Third charge from 500% to 650%. AoE damage from 180% to 234%. His skill from 12% to 15% crit damage, from a total of 48% to 60% max crit damage instead. For his E4, buff provided from his skill lasts till his next turn. For his E5, increases ultimate and talent level cap 10% to 12.5% where E1 gets a 50% damage boost instead. Ulti damage from 300% to 360%, AoE from 140% to 168%. Now for E6, when any other ally uses the ultimate, his imaginary penetration for his third charge increases by 20%, up to 3 sets stacking up to a total of 60%. Conclusion: for free to play, E0 is Lightcone is totally fine. If you have a mono imaginary team, you don't even need his signature Lightcone actually. For those who want to maximize damage for best value, E2 plus his Signature Lightcone. His best output for sure is his E4 plus Signature Lightcone. After that it starts to really downscale. E4 would be even better, but still it all comes down to how much you are going to spend on him. Now for Imbibitor Lunae, Relic Set is very straightforward. For 4-piece stat, you want the same main stat for E0 or E6 or with his Signature Lightcone. No matter what, for main body stat, you want crit damage, do not go for crit rate. For boots, you want speed. Subset priority, crit rate to 70%, including his relic for crit rate or Lightcone. After that, focus on crit damage, attack percentage, and speed. 7 speed to 134 is preferred. Important to speed tune so that Imbibitor Lunae goes third after your buffer and debuffer. Lower speed is actually totally fine. All comes down to how you're building your teammate speed around him. Calculations for substat. Imbibitor Lunae traces while Relic Set will give you 17% crit rate. If you have Silver Wolf for mono imaginary or going only against imaginary weakness, you will need an additional 24% crit rate. With his Signature Lightcone, you get 18% crit rate, and with his best and only Planar Ornaments set, he gains additional 8% crit rate. And his best 4-piece Relic Set, which gives him 10% crit rate, you don't even need any crit rate substats. Let's say you don't have Silver Wolf, plus you are not fighting an imaginary boss, and you do not have a Signature Lightcone, you will need 35% crit rate, which is really easy to pull off. If you have a Signature Lightcone, you only need 17% sub crit rate stat. If you do not have a Signature Lightcone but only going to use Imbibitor Lunae for imaginary weakness boss, you would only need 11% crit rate substat. Okay, and now for the best relic set is 4-piece Wastelander of Banditry Desert, which increases his damage by 10%, crit rate by 10% if enemy is debuffed, and 20% crit damage if enemies are imprisoned. With this set, to work at max potential, you need Silver Wolf or Welt plus Lucas Lightcone or Pella plus Lucas Lightcone. This is no doubt his best set. His second best set is no doubt 4-piece Musketeer. This set is actually very good, just a little weaker by roughly 3%. Just one issue with Musketeer set is that you're losing out on 10% crit rate, which you will need an additional 10% crit rate for your substat. Though if you have better relic substat, this set is definitely way better, as the difference isn't that huge. And this set will be more viable for you if you do not have a Luca 4-star Lightcone, which gives your debuffer to debuff enemies with a normal attack for extra skill points. And do not go with 2+2 sets, as the damage percentage loss will be around 3 to 5% compared to a 4-piece Musketeer. Only reason to go for this set is that you have god tier relic substats for your 2+2 sets instead of a total of the 4-piece sets. And now for his Planar Ornament main stat, you want attack percentage preferred, definitely over energy rope. For the orc, you want imaginary. For the rope, it all comes down to which has better substats actually. But if you have his Signature Lightcone, just opt for the attack rope. Even without his Signature Lightcone, attack percentage is actually still preferred. The only Planar Ornament set you must run for is Rutilant Arena, as you get 20% damage increase as Imbibitor Lunae basic skill attack is his main damage output, around 80% of his total damage. Now for Imbibitor Lunae Lightcones, he has a ton of total Lightcones. I'll start from the worst to best. At last place we have Under the Blue Sky. This Lightcone at S5 gives 32% attack, 24% crit rate for 3 turns, which is pretty consistent as Imbibitor Lunae AoE skill has really high damage which will kill off mobs. With this Lightcone you can opt for 24% lesser crit rate substat and focus more on other substats. This Lightcone at S1 performance will be around the same as S5 Circle Valve. At third place we have Clara's Signature Lightcone. This Lightcone has to kill enemies for the extra attack to proc. This Lightcone is good if you do not have Under the Blue Sky at S5. Would say that S1 Signature Clara Lightcone has around the same performance as Under the Blue Sky at S5. Even better if you're running links though. Second place is On the Fall of the Aeon from her touch store, which is his best free-to-play Lightcone. At S5, it gives 16% attack, stacking up to 4 times, which gives him a total of 64% attack. If you have Silver Wolf all going against imaginary weak enemies, and you deal weakness break with this Lightcone, your damage will increase by 24% for 2 turns. This Lightcone is slightly behind his Extinction Lightcone without break. It will be on par or maybe even better than Extinction Lightcone over time, with a mono imaginary slash facing an imaginary weakness. First place no doubt is his signature Lightcone, which is still the best. Crit rate increases by 18%. When he does skill slash basic attack, it can stack up to twice. He is able to get a total 2 stack of 36% attack, 12% energy regen, lasting for 2 turns, which helps him with his ulti to gain personal skill point. Now for Teamcomp and rotation, Imbibitor Lunae is pretty much the same as any DPS character. No matter what, you want a buffer plus debuffer and a sustain with him. His best buffer is Yukong and Tingyun. They are pretty much the same. It all comes down to who has higher Eidolons, better Lightcone, and the rest of your team comp. I won't be mentioning Bronya as she's very SP heavy, so not recommended unless you have her E1, and if you're using her, make sure you build max speed and max out her talent for her to go really fast to generate multiple skill points. For a debuffer, Silver Wolf, Welt, and Pella. For Welt and Pella, you want Luca's Lightcone. No Luca Lightcone is fine if you're not running a 4-piece imaginary set. I won't be talking about sustain at all. As long as your sustain is skill point positive, your team is good to go. Though if you have insanely good healer like Locha, as long as your healer has enough healing, you can opt for Quick Proco as well Lightcone, which will help out quite a lot for Imbibitor Lunae. Even better with Tingyun. Do note that this setup is a little hard to pull off. With this setup rotation, you want a healer with enough speed to actually go first before Imbibitor Lunae, depending on your team comp. Example, Pella, healer, Tingyun, Imbibitor Lunae, if you want to focus energy regen on Tingyun and Imbibitor Lunae energy. Or just even a healer going first to guarantee the 16 energy regen proc on any ally. Though do note that you just kind of have to experiment on it. Now for the standard rotations, you have to speed to your team. The best rotation is to have your buffer go first into your debuffer. For example, you can go first with a skill into Pella with Luca Lightcone basic attack, which procs a debuff into Imbibitor Lunae, after that your sustain. Same rotations, even if you're on a mono imaginary team, you want Yukong going first, after that Silver Wolf into Imbibitor Lunae, into your healer, etc.